Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At cspoa.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever. Visit cspoa.org and join the Sheriff's Citizens Posse today. Make a difference. Stand for freedom. That's cspoa.org. Your country, your fight, your future.
All righty. Welcome, Sheriff Mack, to the show, to Spiritual Warfare. Welcome. That's the site you represent there, right? For the sheriff's community. Yes. And that is all about what? Getting the sheriffs together and start to, what was it? Just an organization to.
Yeah, we hope the sheriffs unite behind the Constitution. That's what we really hope. And that they will understand their oath of office, and that they'll have a dedication in their heart to keep it and to do it. And all they have to do is keep the promise they made to the American people in their counties when they took their job. They swore an oath in God's name to uphold and defend, protect, and preserve the United States Constitution. That's all we want them to do.
But why is there some sheriffs that are not doing that? Is it just because they're bought and paid for? Is there money going around? What do you think is going on?
Well, the first thing I would say is I was in law enforcement 2.5, 3 years before I woke up and realized what was going on. Some of these sheriffs have been in law enforcement 30, 40, 50 years, and they've never woke up. It's never hit them that their primary job is to protect the civil rights of the people they work for. And in other words, keep their oath, uphold and defend the Constitution, protect the civil rights of every single person in their county. That's the ultimate goal. Not kicking in doors, not going after druggies, not going writing all the speeding tickets and the radar tickets and all that. Is some of that part of the job? Of course it is, especially keeping the peace at domestic disputes and doing patrol around schools. All of that is necessary, but the goal is ultimately God-given individual American liberty, and they have not understood that. And the police academies across the country don't teach about the Constitution. They teach case law, and they teach everybody how to put handcuffs on and how to write tickets and how to shoot a gun. The ultimate goal has got to be aimed at American liberty, and that's where they've missed it. So I understand that some sheriffs are not going to get it because they've never been taught. But we provide that education now. We provide the classes, the Constitution for law enforcement. How about everybody take that now?
So tell me, Sheriff, if you were active right now in your area, what would you be doing and what would be your main focus?
Well, the main focus right now would be supporting Tom Homan in deportation. And I really appreciate what Trump has done to secure the border. That needed to happen first above anything. But number two is defund Planned Parenthood. And now it's ready. We're ready to go to number two. And that has to happen. The epitome of corruption. Well, I finally got the word. The epitome of corruption is that we have a private organization, and I'm not even getting into whether you're pro-life or pro-death or pro-choice, whatever the slogan of the day is. Right. It's plain and simply this: stealing taxpayer dollars. $700 million a year goes to a private organization that provides no government service whatsoever. And that is criminal. It's illegal. And look, I own CSPOA. Why am I not funded by the federal government? We defend civil rights for everybody. We're 10 times more important than killing babies. But no, So this has got to go. And if you're really doing DOGE and you're really going to save money, that's the first place where we could save $700 million a year. And it should happen, and it needs to happen. And that needs to get on the radar of Mike Johnson and President Trump and Congress. And they have got to do this. That has got to be done.
Couldn't they have done? I mean, there's been investigations on Planned Parenthood. There's been undercover footage about them selling baby parts and stuff like that. Like right there should have been the red line to shut them down.
Right.
What
did they do? They did a criminal investigation on the guy that was undercover.
Yeah. But now it's time. But that's the sad thing. Why is it now that because we have a different president, now the laws change to now we're upholding law? I don't understand why. If it's a different president, you're at the border, you have to, I mean, like they're not following the law at the border during Biden's administration. That doesn't make any sense to me. Or did they change it, say, hey, if they come, let them in? I mean,
no. And we had such a corrupt administration the past 4 years. They got away with everything because the national media, the mainstream media was totally on board with them. They were totally on board with this demented, sick president, and they knew it. Like he has this debate with Trump, and all of a sudden Biden is sick. I'll be damned. No, they knew it all along. When he did his first press conference and they started asking questions, and somebody pulled the plug on the network, they should have known right then who was really in charge, and it wasn't Joe Biden.
Well, yeah, I mean, we knew he was losing it before he ran.
Of course.
But what I'm saying is that at the border during the Biden administration, they're flowing through, but there's laws saying that they have to go through a process. Did they just change the laws during those 4 years?
No, they never changed them. They ignored them and refused to enforce them. There's 26 laws regarding immigration.
So how could a person be at the border as a sheriff or ICE or whatever, just be okay with that? I don't understand where they're up. Where's the
ICE? The Border Patrol guys weren't okay with it, and none of the sheriffs were okay with it either. This created a huge pack full of crime that the sheriffs, especially the border sheriffs, were just absolutely livid about. And Sheriff Coe, what county? I can't remember the county in Texas, but we did a seminar there in his county, and while we were doing it, he had to leave to go help with a bunch of pursuits crossing the border. And this was at his sheriff's office where we were having the meeting. So it's been crazy, and it's been treason. This is treason when a president and his administration intentionally allows it and intentionally participates with bringing illegal aliens into our country. And everybody knows the reason. They wanted to pack the Democrat voter rolls so that they would have a complete monopoly on political power from Bangor, Maine to Honolulu, Hawaii. That's why they did it. Everybody knows it. They did have mens rea. They had a benefit, and it was to stack the deck for voters. That's it.
Let me ask you this. An illegal immigrant during the Biden administration, they went through an app. Okay. So they went through an app. They went through, they're in America. They transport them to a certain town. Are those people getting deported, do you think, with Trump?
Well, they're not the top on the list. They're going after terrorists and Tren de Aragua and the other cartels. I hope they're going after the Chinese dissidents and the Russian dissidents. There's about 25,000 Russian dissidents and 25,000 Chinese dissidents that are here. And we know they're not here to play patty cake. That's the problem with the terrorists. There's over 100,000 international terrorists that have infiltrated America. We all know they're not here to play tiddlywinks. And we still anticipate that there's going to be a hit in America from these terrorist groups.
Yeah, well, they're sleeping right now, and hopefully they don't. But my question,
and the attack, the intel is they're going to attack the infrastructure, the water supply, and the grid.
The grid. Yeah, I mean, they're talking about the grid that shut down over in Spain over there. They're saying that was
exactly. Spain and Belgium and Portugal all got it.
Yeah, and they're saying that's like their test to, see how the people react. And now it's going to start being widespread. And we all know Klaus Schwab talked about it a while ago too. Instead of the COVID pandemic, it's going to be the grid pandemic.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that even these people that come in through the app, and how many laws do they have to break to just survive in America? It just feels like, and even the illegal ones that just come in and maybe they're not criminals. They just came through and they paid the cartel, whatever. How many laws are they breaking every day? As far as I know, they broke the law from crossing the border, but what's the next law they break to survive in America?
Well, it's pretty easy to get by when they're not enforcing the laws. And it's really, really crazy. This is more criminal spending that they get free driver's licenses, free health care. Some get on Social Security. They were all given debit cards that had thousands of dollars on them, $8,000 to $10,000, and those could get refilled. And so this is where the subterfuge and the corruption really came in. And this is the Biden administration and Kamala. And now the Democrats want more of it. They want more of the same.
Oh, I know.
And that's what's totally insane to me.
So you say they get Social Security, but don't they have to have a Social Security number to get Social Security?
Yeah, that's pretty easy to get too, especially when the federal government is the one in charge of issuing those.
Okay, so the government's breaking the laws for them is what was
Correct.
going on.
Correct.
Well, what about before Biden administration? Were they still doing it like that? Even, during Trump's time, 2016, and then before that? Is this what's been going on for all these years?
Some of it happened behind Trump's back in his first administration, but Obama really did some also. The worst one was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton made sure they got registered to vote, especially in California. Do you want to see a very historical quantum leap? Take California from being a Ronald Reagan state to a Nancy Pelosi state. And I'll tell you why. It was illegal immigration.
Right. That's why they're still in power.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay. I get it. Okay. So they're going to deport all these criminals. Hopefully, we don't know how many criminals do you think there are in the United States right now?
Of criminal illegal aliens, about 40 million. About 40 million.
40 million? Come on, Sheriff. Yeah. Really?
Yes. Look, the criminals doing this said that there was about 10 or 11. And in law enforcement, that we detect about 12 to 15% of all crime. That will give you the clue of how many really are here.
So if you say 40 million are criminal and need to be deported, right? You're saying at least 40 million need to be deported. So then how many illegals are in this country, do you think? Or are they all considered criminals to you?
Well, they're all criminals to me. Now, look, I love the Latin American people. I've lived there before. I've lived in Guatemala and El Salvador. And I've traveled extensively throughout Mexico. I don't blame them for wanting to be here. I don't blame the kids that came with their parents when the parents came here illegally. But must they answer to the law? Yes. And I taught school to some of these kids. I was a high school teacher about 8 years ago. And I'm sorry, when they would tell me, we would talk about this issue. I taught history and government. And so we would talk about this. And I didn't pull any punches. I let them know. You could still be deported. You could still have to answer to this criminally. I hope that you and your family will try to take care of this. But it's really gone too far. Another thing that happened is that when Clinton was doing this, he was making sure they got driver's licenses, because that's the easiest way. If you have a driver's license, you can go anywhere and you can get registered to vote right off of that.
That's right.
So now they think it's racist if you have to show ID to vote.
Well, they got the real ID coming out right now.
See, and I oppose that too. Now that's a mistake from the Trump administration. That's a mistake.
Wasn't that put in law in 2005?
2005, and it was a part of the brainchild of the Patriot Act.
Okay, so it took 20 years to get it official. Is that what that whole thing was for?
Yeah, and I don't know why Obama didn't really push it. I really don't understand that one. But
so why do you not like the Real ID?
Well, first of all, it's registration of people in a system that's not necessary. And it is getting DNA, retina samples, and it's registering our bodies to the federal government. And so I did a lot of research on this, and I fly a lot. And every time I went through the airports, somebody there, usually the person that you're showing your driver's license to, because they said, now you remember in May, you got to have this by May 7th, you got to have the Real ID. Yeah. And I would tell, actually, state legislatures are not subject to federal direction. That's a quote. That's a quote from my Supreme Court case.
Oh yeah, that's right.
State. Let me really hit this hard for just a minute here, and I'll only take a minute. The quote I just gave was from the New York v. U.S. case, where New York sued the federal government over overreach. Same thing I sued them for. And this is what Scalia quoted from the New York case. We have held, however, that state legislatures are not subject to federal direction. Then over here on page 6, this is the review of the case that I put together. This is all the highlights. This is all the best stuff. Every American should have this in their home or their pocket or their car. Look at that good on the on my website at cspua.org. When you want to buy these, they're very inexpensive. I'm holding it like this. I'm kind of holding it in my hand, just like this. And so look for this white thing in my hand. Okay. Now on the next side of that same page, it says this, quote, the federal government, we held, may not compel the states to enact or administer a federal regulatory program. The Real ID Act is all a brainchild of the federal government, and they're forcing it upon the states, which they cannot do. The states can go along willingly. They're not saying they can't, but this cannot be forced upon us. And if we wanted to say no, we certainly can, and we should be. But the thing of it is, we need to get this in front of Trump and Kristi Noem and let them see this part of federalism got reinforced big time with Sheriff Mack and Sheriff Prince back in 1997. This decision has not been changed. Now, let me read just real quickly another sentence from the order of the court. This is Scalia shaking his finger at the federal government. The federal government may neither issue directives requiring the states to address particular problems, nor command the state's officers or those of their political subdivisions, cities, school boards, counties, to administer or enforce a federal regulatory program. They don't have the authority to do this, and President Trump should be enforcing this decision.
Couldn't they, with this Real ID, find the illegals this way easier?
Well, that's what they say, but I don't see how.
I mean, they have to go to the DMV and get new ones unless they were issued Real IDs right away.
I don't. The only thing that this is, it's like a permit for gun registration and stuff like that. You know, criminals are not going to do it. The law-abiding citizens are, but there is one caveat. You can use a passport instead of this until they change that, of course. But and you can keep your other license. And I guess maybe that's why, because I have both licenses now. I have the Real ID and I have the little star up in the corner.
Yeah.
And I asked DMV when I went to get it. I said, why are we doing this? Nobody knows, because they haven't told them the truth. And I guarantee you the state legislatures in every state in this union don't know what the truth is behind this. It's quite subversive. And like I say, all you need to know is it came from the Patriot Act to know how subversive it is.
Wow. I wasn't even thinking about that. I just thought maybe they were just updating it so all the IDs kind of comply with every single state, right? Isn't that what the whole?
They're all plentiful. They're all plenty good as it is. and that this is supposed to be helping get rid of illegal aliens. I don't see how. I really don't. And the illegal aliens will go get this, and so it'll be more difficult to get rid of them. I got my real ID right here. Take me.
Sheriff, it's not that hard to get that question asked at the press corps now. So we gotta figure out what reporter out there that needs to ask that. I want to ask somebody. Maybe Lindell TV can do that. Also, there's a huge case going on right now with this judge helping an illegal, right?
Judge Hannah Dugan. Yeah.
What is she thinking to help this guy? Knowing that the ICE was there, why would she do something like that? Is she being paid, or is she just so brainwashed that she just needs to protect illegals because she feels sorry for them because they have no life now if they get arrested or they have to go back? What is it?
She's brainwashed with the Democrat dogma, man. She's also brainwashed with judges can do anything they want. And that is something else. That's why I'm so thrilled to see this. I hope they go after the corrupt judges in this country like crazy. This isn't nearly enough for me, because the 30, 40 years I've spent around government, the 20 years specifically in law enforcement, the biggest corruption and the biggest problem, the greatest bane and destruction of our justice system are judges who do not follow the rule of law. And it's a bunch. And there's Republicans and Democrats, both of these judges that do it. This lady thought that because I'm going to be a hero, I'm going to show people what a judge can do. I'm going to protect these people. I'm going to tell ICE to take a hike. And she went too far and she got arrested, and she deserves it. And I hope she serves time.
Yeah, but the guy I think he beat the wife or something like that. He had all these criminal charges.
Of course he's a crook. Of course.
So I don't understand why she would protect him. I mean, there's got to be some kind of money. Is there no money exchange somehow?
She might be wanting to run for something else and wants the Democrat support. She could be paid off, but I don't think she was. I think she wants to be a staunch Democrat, and I think she has a political future ambition, and she's stupid.
Where can she go from there as a judge? I mean, is there another higher judge?
She hopes to run for attorney general, or she hopes to run for this state Supreme Court and whatever. And in fact, it was the Wisconsin liberal Supreme Court that suspended her. So they're not messing around. I guess they got the message too.
So what about these judges around the United States trying to stop Trump and his agenda? How is that possible? And is the Democrat Party being like, okay, you're up, you need to stop Trump this time? Are they contacting these judges to do it? Because I mean, it's kind of random.
Well, they are judge shopping, no question about that. I know what that is, and so they're judge shopping. They already know they have somebody that will side with them, and this is the problem with America, and this is the problem with judges, federal judges especially. If you're taking a constitutional issue and you're taking a stand against the president of the United States, you better damn well be ready to quote the provision in the Constitution that you're upholding in your decision. And they can't do it. Oh, Trump just can't do this. Or, oh, it's not fair. Or, well, this is how we've always done it. There's judges that have actually said that. In order to make their ruling, they said, well, this is the jurisprudence that we've been doing, and I'm not going to side against gun control. I'm not going to side for gun control unless I see the history of what we've been doing with gun control first. No, that is absolutely wrong, and that has happened. That very issue has happened, and so what did they promise to do? All three branches of government and all employees within all three branches swear the same oath of allegiance to the Constitution. The judges, especially the federal district and circuit court and the United States Supreme Court, must be required by law to quote the provision of the Constitution that they're upholding. And none of them have done that with Trump. It's just been political, and it's baloney.
Why do the Democrats want this Garcia guy? I just don't understand. Why would they go into El Salvador and grab? I mean, like, it's clear as day. Yes, he has these tattoos. It doesn't say MS-13. It just has the tattoos that mean MS-13.
MS-13.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. The wife blurred him out in pictures. He's beat his wife twice. I mean,
Right.
he's guilty. Just that alone. He's got 2 convictions of being deported. I don't understand why they would waste their time on this guy. There's got to be something else going on.
Well, that's the problem. They have nothing else going on. They have to find somewhere to hang their hat. It's not only Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
It's we will stand against everything the Republicans are doing, and especially Trump. That they have to, and it creates no common sense. No common sense is used in this. They have to stand and try to brainwash their base into keeping their support. And the whole thing brought to light what a great president El Salvador has right now in Presidente Bukele.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I absolutely love the guy. He's a great leader. He's a great statesman, and he's doing a great job. And I would love to be the ambassador to El Salvador. Like I said, I've lived there before. My degree is in Latin American studies, and yo hablo español, and I would love to work with him.
Well, let me ask you this. What was the whole thing about the court saying 9-0? The Democrats keep touting this. The court decided already. It was 9-0. What is that? 9-0 for what? For him to come back?
I don't remember what issue you're referencing, but
with Garcia, the guy.
To say that he had to come back.
So the Supreme Court said 9-0. He's got to come back to the United States. Correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And then President Bukele said the Supreme Court doesn't rule me, and I'm not smuggling an MS-13 guy back to the United States. Now, the ruling said that the federal government should facilitate his return. Bukele's not cooperating, and so facilitating it would be rather impossible. But look at the Supreme Court decisions that the Democrat Party refused to support during the Biden administration. Biden refused to stop his illegal refunding or doing away with abolishing the loans for students all across the country. And he was buying votes because he was doing poorly in that generation. So it's all so corrupt, and no one even called him on it, especially in the national media. I know you did, and I know I did. But the thing of it is, this corruption is so ubiquitous that in Washington, D.C., there is no corruption. There's just politics. And these dishonest, vapid politicians are absolutely the worst thing going on in America. And I'll tell you, I've said this on a lot of shows. I created this saying. Anybody can use it all they want. Maybe say, Sheriff Mack told us this. Okay. One guy that I did it to yesterday just loved it. He wrote it down and loved it. If God does not strike down Washington, D.C., he owes Sodom and Gomorrah an apology.
Yeah.
And that's it's a little bit funny, but it's absolutely true.
Yeah. So if they are going to keep fighting for the illegals, that's like, it seems like that's their big cause right now. It's because they know that they're they're losing power. I mean, it just pretty comes down to that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and they don't have anything else. Like I said, what you said, what's going on? They have nothing to hang their hat on. A criminal, gang banger? Are you kidding? That they are. No, let's go down and visit the poor guy. We're not, and they didn't even ask him if he really was a member of MS-13.
Are they just so soulless? Because it just doesn't make any sense how, like, they don't like Lakeland Riley. They could care less about Americans dying, but they would go all out to save some illegal. It's just like, it just seems like they're so soulless or demonic, or there's something else going on.
Well, it's simply that they're following
orders,
the party. They're blinded by it. They're obsessed with it, and it's, even if it means putting law-abiding Americans second or third or 10th.
Who's putting out the orders, do you think?
Say that again.
Who's putting out these orders to the Democrat Party and even mainstream with their scripts?
They're actually during the protests that a lot of us were making, the national media were receiving their they were receiving, the Democrat Party was receiving, and the White House, the Biden administration, were all receiving from a national PR firm. They were all receiving the same talking points, and some still do. And I even used to have the name, and I'm sorry, I got it from Catherine Engelbrecht from True the Vote, and they had the name of the firm. And I saw it at a training seminar with them, and I don't remember it now, but they all were. National media, Democrat Party, and the White House, all receiving the same talking points, because they know that brainwashing works, and you tell a lie long enough, it sticks.
So you're saying it's an agency that's doing this?
Well, it's an agency that was hired by the Democrats or the Biden administration or both. Yeah, they're making money doing it. They're not doing it for free.
No, I know that, but they're more
corruption is very expensive.
But it's got to be something more sinister than just an agency that's trying to make money and control.
Well, yeah, the destruction of America.
Right.
Yeah, they're destroying our country.
To stay in power. They got to destroy the country to stay in power. That's basically what they got to do, correct? Right? They have to get all these illegals in, create chaos, and then finally take over completely.
And don't forget, the solution will always come on a nice communistic, socialistic silver platter.
Right, because we'll be all desperate, and then they'll be like, all right, we'll give everyone $1,200 a month. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, thank you. Jeez.
I mean, do you want to hear Scalia describe the COVID-19 mandates?
Yeah.
He didn't mean to, but he did. So, again, in the Supreme Court decision, folks, get them a bunch of, hand these out to people. Pass these around to your sheriff, to your chief of police, to your city council, and to your county commissioners. Pass these around. Let them see it. This has not changed. This has not been rescinded. It's been ignored a lot, but it has not been changed or altered. Okay. The Constitution protects us is the heading on page 13 in this little booklet I put together. And I studied the case for days to put this together. And the law school review of this case that I studied was from Cornell University. And if it's still on their website, if they still have that out there, it is excellent. I highly recommend it. Or get this and you'll save a lot of time. Okay. But the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions. Now, you would think that quote would be good enough. There's more. But the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions. It divides power among sovereigns and among branches of government precisely so that we may resist the temptation to concentrate power in one location as an expedient solution to the crisis of the day. End quote. The crisis of the day that they create. That's what Obama and Rahm Emanuel used as their motto. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And then I always added, when they said that, I always added, even if you have to create it yourself, which they did on COVID. And so, of course, they tested us all. Oh, they're all going to go along with it. But we had actually over 500 sheriffs nationwide who said, we will not do that. We will not comply. We're not going to shut people down. We're not going to arrest people if we're not wearing a mask or not socially distancing, as they did in Michigan with Governor Whitmer. And that's another mistake Trump made yesterday, was saying she was doing a good job. I don't know why he did that, but anyway.
Even Shapiro in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So Scalia called it so strongly in this. Folks, everyone, Jess, I need to tell you, this is the most powerful 10th Amendment state sovereignty federalism case in the history of our country. And it's the only time in history where sheriffs sued the federal government and won at the United States Supreme Court.
Oh,
here it is.
There it is. Get that.
Get dozens and dozens.
What's that? CSPOA.org. Is it in the merch store? Is it? You have a merch section?
It's in this. Yeah, it's in there. It's shop or on the left side. You can find. Yeah, it's in there. It might take you a minute, but it's in there. Okay, there's the books.
Shop.
Is that all that's on that one? Then it's going to be on another page. Then wait, what's
shop books? I mean, this would
because it shows my hand holding it, and it's next to a bunch of other books. So there's another book page. I know.
That's not it. No, that's not it. Learn about the U.S. Constitution. Get certified. No, that's not it. It's got to be this.
No.
Sheriff, where is it?
Now, kind of looks.
Oh, maybe it's under this books and DVDs.
Because there's a bunch of other books next to it. My most popular book, The County Sheriff, is there, but then there's another place for books.
Right here. This no.
There you go. There, right there, where my hand is. Yep, right there.
Oh, right here. There we go. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, way to go.
Okay. Cool. So tell me. Let's see. How many? What do people ask here? How many laws? Okay, we already asked that. When these illegals come to America, they're paying back somebody, and they're sending their money back to who, and how much are they giving these people, and who are they?
The cartels, and the cartels are the most ruthless, cruel, evil murderers. I went to training on this once, and it took a long time, and they even warned us, if you want to turn away and not watch this, it's okay with me. And it was showing the cartels murdering some of the wives of the competitors, of local competitors, other gangs and other cartels. And it showed, I'm not going to even be explicit as it is, but it showed 5 or 6 women being tortured and horribly murdered. Jeez. And I will say I was grateful that the torture didn't last very long. And then they took sledgehammers to their heads. And I'm telling you, these people are people without normal feeling. They're inhuman. They're monsters. And these are the people that we're inviting into America. These cartels have set up shop here.
Well, they set up shop, but Trump has designated them as a terrorist organization.
Which they are.
Shouldn't that be more of going into Mexico and hunting these people down? Or is that just out of our jurisdiction?
Well, it is a little bit out of our jurisdiction, but if they had permission from the president, what's her name? Can't remember her name.
She's corrupt, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. Look, I went to another training seminar back when I was teaching high school, and it was held at University of Arizona in Tucson. And there were about 12 professors from all the major universities in Mexico. And because I spoke Spanish, I made instant friends with all of them. And we were all standing around at some dinner meeting, whatever, and we were talking, and it was kind of a social hour. And I said, okay, you guys, tell me the truth. And I was saying this all in Spanish. I said, how much is the Mexican government run and controlled by the cartels? All of them said it in unison, never even hesitated. 100%, 100%. That's what they all said. And this lady, when she's fighting Trump, she's following orders from her bosses. And the economy of Mexico is at least, their gross national product is at least 10% drugs. And I think it's actually more. But there's no way they could afford to just drop that all of a sudden, and the cartels do run the roost in Mexico. But look at the corruption here.
Right.
I can't make excuses and say, oh, well, America's better. I can't. And whether it's drugs or human trafficking or child sexual slavery, the 350,000, 400,000 kids that were lost, that's where they are. That's what happened to them. And so when these families come across, they will sell some of their kids into that market so that they can pay for their trip here. These people don't have it. They either have to steal it in Mexico or Latin America somewhere. They have to steal it so they can keep their kids, or they have to sell their kids. And sometimes they're selling their kids on the way here and letting their kids please the coyotes and have sex with the coyotes, and then they're paid enough and they can still keep their kids. This is a very heinous operation, and the people who suffer the most are the poor people of Mexico.
I mean, the Democrats would be like, well, we feel sorry for these people, what they have to do to come all the way to America.
Yeah, you know, find out what they have to do. Yeah.
I mean, these women are so desperate. I mean, this is just awful. I mean, it's just,
right.
But you know, you're right. It's sad that America is the one that consumes it. It wants these children. They want the drugs. You know, that's the problem. But you also got to admit, Sheriff, the fentanyl is not just being coming over the border. It's being made in America. Wouldn't you think?
I don't know if it is. I know it's been made in China. I know it's been made in Latin America. You know, I don't care where it's getting made. I wouldn't be surprised if it's being made in America, but the big suppliers are China and Latin America. And that's the way it is with all of them. Who's the biggest provider of cocaine? Who's the biggest provider of marijuana? Latin America.
Yeah, but they seized over millions of pills. Okay. That's one seizure, right? But I'm sure there's plenty that came into America. We don't see mass deaths on fentanyl. I mean, do we? Or I mean, are we seeing
it's about on fentanyl alone? It's almost 100,000 every year.
100,000 a year.
100,000.
They're talking about millions of pills, tons of just tons of fentanyl, powder, whatever. It's like, okay, if that got caught, how much got through? And in the stuff that got through, is it just they only killed 100,000?
Well, sometimes I think that they sacrifice some just to make it look like to the American people that government is doing something. But it's not doing any good. Any legitimate seizure is replaced immediately by another drug trafficker.
Do you think China is it the Xi or is it the CCP, or are they connected that are pushing the fentanyl?
Yeah. The Chinese Communist Party is behind a lot of it, but there's also just criminal gangs that are part of it. And yeah, they're going to push it no matter what. Look what they did in bringing us the coronavirus, and they did it. And yet people are still defending China on that too. And Fauci was part of the problem on that too. So
where's Fauci? Where is he now? He should have been on one of those.
He's enjoying his multi-million-dollar bank account.
I hope so. The whole COVID thing is kind of like dicey because Trump is involved as well with warp speed and the COVID shot. And it's just like, if he admits it, that it's bad.
I don't get that. I don't get that from Trump, because at first he came out and said, I'm taking hydroxychloroquine. And I actually took that when I had COVID, and I think it's saved my life. There were two things that saved my life. One, I never got the vax, and nor would I have ever. And my wife didn't. 3 of my kids did not, and 2 did. And one I kind of understood because he was from Canada. My daughter married a Canadian, and his dad has been very ill. And in order to get back into Canada to visit his dad, they had to get back. So I understand it. Okay. They didn't do any boosters. They didn't do anything else. And I don't think they did their youngest kid. They didn't have to. Canada didn't require that. But
Canada
this has been too much of a monster, the whole thing. And it was obvious. And again, my Supreme Court case, the crisis of the day. And there's always going to be that. And that's why we've got to wake up as the American people here and say, no, I'm not going to comply. You cannot force me to get a vax. You cannot force that. This is America. And so now all the people that got fired from their government jobs that wouldn't take it are now getting their jobs back with back pay, and great. God bless the Trump administration that's making sure that's happening.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have to keep the momentum going. I mean, after Trump, we have to keep it going. And a lot of if the Democrats cheat and steal again in 2028, and they reverse everything we work hard for, we're just back to square one.
That could come sooner. That could come sooner. Sorry, in the 2026 midterm.
Why is there a highly chance that they could take over Congress or Senate?
Yes. In fact, historically, the president usually loses quite a bit in the midterms.
I don't understand that. Why? Well, because it's lower turnout because he's not on the ballot.
I don't know, but it happens.
They don't make it a big national. They should make it a national election day. That's what they should do. They should shut down the United States.
But one day, one ballot, paper ballot, serialized to you.
Yes.
You take the tape off your serial number. It stays on that. And if they ever have to come back and say, "Is this your ballot?" I say, "Yep, here's my serial number," and you can identify it, and you can audit it, and you can verify it.
I mean, I still think they can make ballots for illegal people. I mean,
well, yeah, that's part. Yeah, obviously, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah. Wow. So with Trump, let's just how are you enjoying the Trump administration and what he's doing, especially with Doge? A lot of waste, fraud, and abuse, but I don't see any arrest with that. Is that just because the fraud and abuse? We're calling it fraud, but they were doing it legally. Is that what we would have to say?
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Legalized bribes, legalized extortion, legalized embezzlement, the whole thing.
But that's what they were doing. And
I want arrests. I want investigations, and I want arrests.
So but Mack, we found $150 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse. There's no arrest. Don't you think something strange about that?
Yeah, that's something else. Yeah. Well, there's still a lot of work that we have to do. And there's still a lot of work that Trump has done or needs to do. He's done a lot. If you told me that Trump would have the border secured within the first 100 days, I would have said that would be a huge, monumental success. And I would say that would be the only thing he would need to do that would make his first 100 days totally successful. And he's done more than that.
Yeah.
I hope he really gets the handle on this tariff thing and the deal making there, because there's some major companies that are really struggling because of it, and like Apple and Microsoft and some of these, and there's a lot of retirement plans that are hooked to those, and so we're really trying to make this happen. We're really trying to make this work, but I'm being patient because I think Trump has this under control, and I think it's going to work. So the stock market's been going crazy, but mostly down. It's been going down, but still steadily down. But this is something we need. And the dollar now is really could be hurt, and gold and silver will shoot up because of that. So I'm not optimistic about the economy, but I am optimistic still about Trump. And so, but if I were to ask Trump questions, I would first ask, why have you not seen the requests that we've been making to pardon Sheriff Scott Jenkins in Virginia, who was attacked and arrested and taken to court, tried and found guilty by the Biden corrupt FBI. And this guy was one of the most prolific constitutional sheriffs in America. He's powerful. He's good. He's a good friend of mine. He's a friend of freedom. He loves America. Spent 34 years in law enforcement. Never committed a crime before. First offense, he does some sort of stupid bribery thing that the guy was hired to do by the FBI, and he was in trouble looking at a 100-year sentence. And they said, if you'll go after Scott Jenkins, Sheriff Scott Jenkins, we'll reduce your sentence exponentially. And so the guy did it, and he set him up, And now he's looking at 10 years, just like Tina Peters got 9. He's getting 10. And this should not be happening. And that's the first thing I want Trump to really look at. I know if this gets in front of him, he'll do it. This man stood with Trump in the White House with other sheriffs back during his first term. Since then, he's also been to Mar-a-Lago at meetings at a black tie event. I've got pictures of all that. This man has got to be pardoned. Anybody, please call your local a senator or congressman, or call the Republican chair of your state and ask them to get this to President Trump. I've tried General Flynn. I've tried Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, lots of other people who've been pardoned. I've tried them. And I don't think it's got to Trump yet. I kind of hope that it hasn't, because I would have expected him to do it by now. But please, President Trump, this man is innocent. He's your supporter. He's an amazing constitutional sheriff, and we've got to save him and his family. 10 years will be the death sentence to him.
Wow. What about
Sheriff Scott Jenkins? Everybody write that down. Scott Jenkins, sheriff from Virginia.
What about Derek Chauvin? Would you pardon him?
Who?
Derek Chauvin, the guy that supposedly killed George Floyd.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
You think he got what?
I've seen that over and over, and the thing that he did, there's no police training that made that proper. I don't think he meant to kill him, and I think he might have got too harsh of a sentence. But I don't think was that a federal offense? Was that a federal case? Trump can't pardon him if it was a state case.
I don't know. They're bringing it up in the White House.
Just like Tina Peters. Tina Peters cannot be pardoned by Trump. She was convicted of others.
Who can pardon Tina? Who can pardon her?
The governor, who was part of the problem. But this is what Pam Bondi can do. Investigate those crooks that went after her and go after them. And then she can come out and say, this was all corrupt. She should be released, and they could make any recommendation there. That could be an out for her.
Okay.
So, but Sheriff Scott Jenkins' charges were all federal.
Okay. How do you think Pete Hegseth's doing? Everyone's 50-50 with him. I mean, I'm 100% with him. I just think he's just
I'm totally with him. Yeah, I'm totally with him. 50-50 means the good side's with him, and the some of the ridiculous people are not. I would expect that. Again, that's the same thing with AOC and Bernie Sanders going on these tours and talking about cows farting and stuff. It's just so stupid. And I really wish that we didn't have a two-party system. Washington warned us about that. And he said it would be the bane of American liberty. And sure enough, he was absolutely correct. Very prophetic. And we could still have elections, and they could still push their socialism and their Orwellian bullcrap. But being loyal to a party more than you are to our country and to the people that you supposedly represent, that's really an absolute shame. And I think it would help lessen the dedication and loyalty to parties, and we could stop some of this partisanship corruption.
Yeah. Do you think AOC and Bernie are going to try to run in 2028? You think that's what they're trying
to do?
I
hope so. I hope so. That would be so entertaining.
I know. I love how Tim Waltz today talking about how he was the code of the white guys on his code breaker for white guy votes. That was interesting.
Well, he must be a white supremacist.
I don't know. The only thing he's attracting is beta males and stuff like that. So
they call me that all the time, and there's no proof of it whatsoever. And I have maintained for 35 years that God-given individual liberty, civil rights are for all people, all races, all colors, all creeds, all nationalities, because there can never be an exemption to one group and think that we're all safe. It's for everyone. And I mean, all countries in the Middle East, those leaders there should start recognizing that they're there to serve the people and not to kill them because they're homosexual or because they speak out against government or whatever else it is. I am so fed up with corrupt governments, including our own.
I know. Did you hear with the RFK with them? HSS was collaborating with child trafficking and sex and for slavery. I mean, did you hear about this?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
How were they collaborating? How does that work?
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't see any of the particulars of the case, but I know how the businesses that do the human trafficking and the Sound of Freedom movie showed a lot of that. A lot of guts. That took a lot of courage. I'm glad that movie wasn't any more graphic than it was. But look, Sheriff Grady Judd just arrested a ring of pedophiles and human traffickers. We've got to really focus on that, and we've got to protect these children. We've got to get these 350,000 children back. But they're all now slaves. And this again is right at the foot of the Biden administration.
I mean, slaves are not even alive. I would think a lot of them they probably harvest organs out of them. Like from the movie they talked about.
Well, when they get older, they're no longer good. They want them when they reach puberty. A lot of that is true.
Because
they get rid of them.
Well, they have to get rid of them or else they'll talk. Like,
they don't like them anymore.
It's like the Epstein list. I mean, are you disappointed that we still don't have that list?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and where is the Epstein list?
Right.
They said they were going to expose that. They didn't. Where's the audit on the gold in Fort Knox?
I was going to ask you about that. No, nothing on that. I mean, so there is things that Trump is he it's like, is he doing it, or is he just someone stonewalling him?
Well, I don't, I try to put myself in his place, and again, I think he's done tremendous work for 100 days.
Yeah.
But like I say, we've still got a lot of work to do. I would love to help. And I'm not kidding. I would love to be. I've already put in the application to be the ambassador to El Salvador, but I would love to help anyway. I've already told Tom Homan that any place they could use me, I would gladly help and do it for free. I would gladly do it for free. I don't want to do it for free because I could sure use the pay, but I don't care. I want to be dedicated to really helping America and the people that are taking us back to the Constitution. And let me make this very clear. Maybe I could close with this. The solution for all of us, the solution that we're all hoping and praying for, the peaceful and effective solution is not if we move forward. It's behind us. The solution is behind us. It's in Independence Hall. It's our Constitution. It's the principles upon which America was founded. And we must return to that. And we believe at CSPOA, we offer that solution. Join us in this holy cause. Make a donation to us, become a member of our posse, and be a part of the solution to take back America, county by county, and state by state.
Awesome. Sheriff Mack, I just wanted, before we go, I want to clip something for the show. Your message about Real ID to Donald Trump. Go ahead.
President Trump, this is a mistake. And I think you've been misled by some of your staff. I have a Supreme Court decision that totally guts the whole thing. We don't need it. It's not necessary. And it's a subversive backdoor approach to monitoring the American people. There's a big video put out by Ron Paul. It's totally true. Check that out. But please take my word for it. This is a huge mistake when it comes to individual liberty and exercising our own free will. And we should not be forced to take this. And the states cannot be forced to administer this federal ruling.
All right, there we go. Sheriff Mack, thank you for being on the show. If everybody, you can check out his website at cspoa.org. Go there right now. Get the book that he has in his hand. Show that Constitution book. Hand them out. Buy a bunch of them. Hand them. Give them to your sheriffs.
But it's not a Constitution book. It's a Supreme Court decision.
Supreme Court decision. I'm sorry. and help out your local
Has all the
sheriff.
state flags on it.
There we go. All right. Thanks, Sheriff Mack, for being on the show. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Jess.
All right.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you having me, man.
You got it. There we go. Sheriff Mack on the show talking about what is going on in America. And there was one question I wanted to ask him about Gaza and Israel, but maybe next time. I wanted to get his thoughts on that because I think it's interesting, supporting Israel and, the whole corrupt war. You know what I'm talking about, right, people? All right, folks. I think, if anything, there's a lot to finish up on tonight with some quick viral videos that are going around right now. Let's just go. Trump had a cabinet meeting, very transparent. We love it, right? Everyone going around the table talking about what they're doing. And the one thing that I just talked about with Sheriff Mack about was RFK and the 3,000 children, how they shut down the whole operation that HHS was collaborating on doing. It was this is the highlight of that meeting, and we'll play it right now.
We have ended HHS as the role as the vector, the principal vector in this country for child trafficking. And during the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery. And we have ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration.
This is headlines. This should be all over every single mainstream media. They should be talking about arrests. They should be talking about who was involved, everything. It's just unfortunate that it's not, we got let's see, Elon Musk wearing the double hat. Everybody loved that whole joke that he did because he's got many hats in during the administration here.
Elon, I love the double hat, but he's the only one that can do that. Get away with it.
Well, Mr. President, they say I wear a lot of hats. It's true. Even my hat has a hat. The American people voted for secure borders, safe cities, and sensible spending. And that's what they've gotten. A tremendous amount has been accomplished in the first 100 days. As everyone has said, it's more than has been accomplished in any administration before.
Elon, I love the...
I guess that was it. I guess that's the joke of Elon Musk, right? All right, folks. I wanted to play. This is something I wanted to play real quick. Something about going on with James O'Keefe. Very strange video.
I'm going dark. I'm not suicidal. Pray for me. This one scares me, guys.
And just like that, Justin Leslie says what I was about to say today. And he says, you're going to Bohemian Grove for a week like summer of 2023. I have to almost agree. I think exactly that's what's going on. T-minus 7 days. So, yeah. And he was gone 7 days last time. So, just saying, Justin was a whistleblower from Pfizer. He has audio tape of James O'Keefe admitting going to Bohemian Grove. Very strange. I called out James O'Keefe on his live one time, and he shut the feed down, or he hung up on me after I brought it up. It's just one of those things. You got to check out the interview with ABC and Trump. He just really destroys this reporter like no other. Watch this real quick.
First criminals in this country. We have to get him out, and we're doing it. And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
He had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshop. So let me
That
just.
was Photoshop, Terry. You
He
can't
had-
do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay.
I knew
But
this
I
would
picked
come.
you, Terry. Hey, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to
Terry,
move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
And you think it
agree
was
to disagree.
Photoshop? Well,
Here we go. Here we go.
This is the thing. It did say MS-13 in text, describing each tattoo meant MS and then 13. That's the disconnect in that little piece there, because Trump is saying, oh no, it says the letter M, the letter S, but that was the text referring to the tattoos, what their meaning is. Unless that text was actually tatted on his hand. I highly doubt it, but that's what Trump is saying. It's kind of make him look like he's not right, but we know he's right. You know what I mean? All right, this is Adam Schiff. He wants to take your guns away. Yep, it's already happening. Adam Schiff wants to take them away. Here we go.
Today I will be introducing the assault weapons ban of 2025, a bill that would ban the sale, manufacture, import, and transfer of military-style assault weapons. It's time to pass an assault weapons ban again. It's time to protect our communities from senseless gun violence. It's time to bring back that powerful common sense reform again. It's time for the assault weapons ban of 2025.
It's time to vote his ass out. That's what it's time for. All right. Vote more. Let's see what else is going on. Geez, there's just so much fun going on. Remember, this Texas woman, the one that we used to play all the time during the campaign. She took a gun and just shot an illegal. It was like a fake dummy. But here she is. She's at an a Muslim rally. Has a scarf on. They all think she's gonna talk, and then watch what she does.
Islam is the religion of incense and pedophilia, where they bow down to a stupid rock and a false prophet. I will never mention your logic. This is a Christian nation. Christian nation. Islam and
She's got balls of steel, literally, right? All right, folks, that wraps up today's show. The latest shirt. Well, before we show the latest shirt, I want to show this video. This black conservative lady. In the honor of her, we made a shirt. And hopefully she contacts us because we like to make a deal with her. All right, here is this lady talking about how she was born black, but she ain't Democrat.
When I first announced my run for Congress, I had this random white woman, liberal, walk up to me and ask, well, what about you isn't Democrat? To which I responded, well, besides my skin color, what about me is Democrat? And it was at that very moment that she realized that God gave her enough common sense to ask me about my values. Now, don't get me wrong, I was raised to vote Democrat down the ballot. So when I first started, I would say things like, I'm a Republican, but I'm not a conservative. But now I know all too well I am a full-fledged, hardcore conservative, and I'm proud of it. I mean, my favorite saying is I was born black, not Democrat. But in all seriousness, whenever I began to think for myself politically, the choice was easy. I mean, why would I want to belong to a party whose mission is to infringe on the Second Amendment as if a criminal would ever participate in something like a mandatory buyback? Why would I want to belong to and endorse a godless party? Because there is no such thing. And I mean, no such thing as a trans child. We have confused children and sick enabling adults. Why would I want to belong to a party that takes pride in shedding innocent blood? Number one, as if that's not what God hates. Number two, as if there's not a black market for baby organs. And number three, as if abortion clinics didn't start in the hood. Because if you think Trump is bad, you should research exactly who Margaret Sanger was. But speaking of the black community, why would I want to belong to a party who's responsible for the foundation of the Triple K? But it's not just that. Supposedly in the 1900s, the party switched, right? But what never changed, what I noticed never change is Democrats' love for immigration, how they have always prioritized that over the Black community. I mean, imagine every single Democrat leader helping you joke about what a Black job is in 2024, exposing your ignorance on 1924 and how imperative the Immigration Act of that year was, how it was all reversed in 1965 with the Hart-Celler Act. And I mean, how Congress refuses the advice of the Rockefeller Commission and the Hesburgh Commission, and how to this day, they refuse to adopt the Barbara Jordan blueprint, validating every single thing that Dr. Claude Anderson spoke of generally, but specifically what Mrs. King spoke of in 1991 with her letter to Congress. Now, look, I'm not saying that the Republican Party is perfect. No, nobody's perfect. What I'm saying is I side with Malcolm X when he said that the liberals were the worst thing that could ever happen to the Western Hemisphere, but y'all ignore that, just like how y'all ignore LBJ saying, and I quote, "I'm going to have Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years, and by God, 60 years later, I see no sign of recourse, but rest assured your vote is your voice, even if it is a whisper." Thank you, Council. Mayor Parker, whenever you're ready, you can call your next speaker. What's up, wee man?
There we go. Pretty powerful. She's trending so much. In the honor of her, we had to, well, hopefully we could, I don't know, somehow collab with her on this. But our dream team, obviously in our store, they made up a shirt, and here it is. It's official. I was born Black, but not a Democrat. There you go. It's available right now at webersway.com/shop. Get it right now while it's hot. It's not going to last long, folks. I'll tell you that much right now. There you go. For women and men, there you go. It is the fitted shirt. I am officially switching to all of our shirts to the fitted shirts because they are better material. They're just more high quality for the men and women. You know, you look great in them as well. There you go. I was born Black, but not a Democrat. I love it. There we go. I was thinking about I was born white and I'm not gay. I was going to do that one, but that one failed in our design team. And we're working on something else, right? I was born white, but not a KKK member or something like that. That might be a good one. That might be a really good one, right? Maybe. Other than that, folks, thanks for watching. And remember, Doug was our winner the other day for our shirt. So he never emailed me back. So we might have to do the contest again. Chuck, we might, maybe. Again, if you want to win a shirt, just send us your email on the website. So just fill out the form, put your email in there, and it's possible that you can win a shirt. We'll start just doing weekly drawings. How about that, Chuck? Huh? Might as well. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. And remember, it is time to pray. And who are we praying for, Jess? Who needs the prayer of most, right? You know, I forgot about this video. Chuck, we got to play this video. I'm sorry. But, you know, us conspiracy theorists, you know, we've been around for years, right? Cut the music. We've been around for a long time. And finally, the truth came out today. That's right. Michelle Obama has officially admitted that she's a man or she slipped up. We're not taking this out of context, folks. This is what she said. This is unbelievable.
I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about you know, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. You know, would you care to share that journey of?
Well, I learned.
That warms my heart as a Black man. Obviously, we could take it out of context and say, obviously, we know she's a man, right? I mean, did you see her brother on the podcast? He's gayer than gay. Anyways, obviously, she's talking to that other guy, the Wayne brother. His whatever's trans, Hollywood actor. What are the odds? Even Robert De Niro's kid is trans. What are the odds? It's very strange. You would think if you were a celebrity or an A-lister up there or, you know, in that world, you would think, hey, you know, my kid's trans, your kid's trans. Like, hey, something's going on here, huh? But no, I think it's a satanic sacrifice. Instead of killing someone in their family or close to the one they love, it's the one that the close to them that they love has to transition. And somehow they do it and somehow they pull it off. I don't know if they inject them with something to get them that way or whatever, or indoctrinate them. But it seems like that is the new sacrifice of the Illuminati, to sacrifice their career to move on to the next life. I don't know. Whatever you think it is. But I'll tell you one thing. I think it's the new sacrifice instead of killing someone in their family, because that's more painful. But to get them trans, Satan loves that. Satan really loves that. All right, folks, we are praying for the judge that went broke. Here we go. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray for this judge. This one, the one that's crying in an orange jumpsuit, Lord. We pray for her because of what she did, trying to help an illegal wife beater that I'm sure has beat more people than we can imagine, and Lord, only you know how many. But for her to be so brainwashed to help a criminal, Lord, we ask you to wake her up in her jail cell, realize the truth, come to her in her sleep and say what you did was wrong and you know it, and I'm waking you up to the Lord. And Lord, we pray that she has that vision. We pray that she wakes up out of prison. We pray when she gets out of prison that she will tell the media she was wrong. And she realizes that now and had no idea that she was under the spell of the Democratic Party. And she loves Jesus. We say this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, folks, that wraps up today's show. Thank you to Sheriff Mack, Richard Mack. Check out his website at cspoa.org. And other than that, remember, Jesus is coming.
To do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. Surrender all to you, Jesus. Make this our song of surrender tonight. Here is where